Hey guys, welcome back to this video podcast. My name is Clough. I hope you're doing absolutely brilliant today. Now this video podcast, I want to talk to you about radiating. A while ago I put up a little quote that I had thought of. Hey House shared it, and it was ultimately saying whatever you want to radiate it into your life. So if you want more love, you want to radiate it. If you want more things in your life, you need to radiate it. And a few people have asked me, well, what does this really mean? And how can I apply it into my life? And it's a great question because many people can get confused with how they can attract certain things into their life, whether it be about their health, for healing, or to making changes, to improving their health, whether it be about relationships, friendships, whether it be about career or career progression, or even money. Now, the way I see it is that whatever we desire, whatever we want in our life, is something that we should be radiating out into the world. So ultimately, it's all about our intention, it's about our focus, and it's about our thinking, and it's about our feelings, and it's also about our behavior. So to really radiate more things into your life, I really believe we have to change our focus. You see, many people focus on the negative, or scarcity, or what they don't want, in other words. And there's a real legitimate, understandable reason why people do this, because it is a protective mechanism. Way back, we had to think of what might happen, because it's really about protecting ourselves. What if someone attacks us? What if we can't find food? And it's ultimately like survival strategy. Unfortunately, we can really not achieve the type of the results we want if we are putting our attention to, or putting our focus onto the things we don't want into our life. So, well, I don't want to be more in debt, I don't want another bad relationship, I don't want this, I don't want that. Ultimately, it's a fear-based thinking, and we need to change our focus. We need to be able to put our light, our thoughts, onto another area. Ultimately flipping it around to our desired outcome. The way I see it is this. Imagine being in a darkened room and you have a torch, and you could be focusing that torch on just one aspect of that room. And that could be that I don't want this to happen. Now what we have to do is change our focus and put it onto what we do want. Ultimately highlighting and shining the light onto our desires in the world. When we put our attention and our energy onto our desires, it will create our brain to focus on looking for more opportunities. So we want to radiate our focus onto our desires. And when it comes to our desires, sometimes it can be very much future orientated, which is fine because some goals are future orientated. Like if you want to earn X amount of money, it may not just happen in the next 10 minutes. It may happen in the next weeks, months, or years. And it's really dependent on time sometimes, and that's okay. But when we're putting our attention and we're radiating our desires, one of the key things to know is that we're worthy of our desires. We're worthy of achieving them. We're worthy of having them. And it's something that I like to think of, which Neville Goddard once said, was to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and act upon it with conviction. So assume the feeling of having achieved this desire, whether it be in your health, relationships, or career. Really assume the feeling of having got it already. And then we act upon that with conviction. We're radiating out that this is who I am. I am worthy of this. I am capable of this. It's actually happening already. We're putting out our intention that this is the way life's going to be. We're putting our passion and we're radiating our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors to have this into our life. Now, I don't mind what your personal belief systems are, whether they be religious, whether it be just scientific, whether there's a mixture, whether you believe in God or higher self, whatever you think is absolutely fine. And I have no argument about that, because simply, if you believe it, and just for science, say wherever our attention goes, our brain is wired up to look for more information like it. They say it's the reticular activating system. Something like that anyway. And ultimately, it's like when you learn a new word, you begin to see it everywhere. And it's always been there, but because it was outside of your perception or outside of your awareness, your brain was deleting it. Or it just couldn't see that word in your life. Or maybe if you choose to find a new car that you'd like, you start to see it everywhere. Ultimately, your brain is wired up to look for more of whatever you think. So when you're radiating your desires, you want to be thinking about what you want. And that's why it's really important about our focus, because if we focus on what we don't want, our brain is searching for more of that. So we've got to change our focus as to where we actually want to achieve something. And therefore, we're putting that continuous thought, that feeling, that emotion, and also our behaviors are geared up to really start going for it. So ultimately, we're putting it into our attention. And whether you believe in your higher self or God, the universe, when we're putting that energy out there and we're radiating it and we're saying, I am worthiest, I'm assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled as if I've already got it right now, that's radiating the energy. We're all interconnected. Everything is energy. And the more we're putting out there, the more we're going to start to receive. So we've got to change our internal world to be able to change our external world, or how we see it anyway. So ultimately, to radiate things into your life, you need to have your intention, your attention, your thoughts and feelings in the forefront of your mind as if they've happened already, as if it's just there right now, and you feel it, and you think about it, and you ultimately expand that focus. You're actually putting that out there, and that's what I mean by radiating it. It's like every part of you is aligned and congruent in achieving whatever your desire is. When we take responsibility, we're assuming that feeling of, I am in control of my life, I am capable of this, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. Ultimately, that my life isn't dictated by my circumstance, rather my thoughts, my feelings, and how I choose to act and react will change my circumstance. And that's what I really believe, that we can be the creator of our life by cultivating our thoughts and feelings on a more consistent basis. And it's also about putting our conscious awareness where it needs to be and allowing that attention to grow. The more you allow it to grow, the more in sync and more aligned you are in achieving it. So by radiate, that's what I really mean. To assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and act upon it with conviction. So we're really going down the two routes of really having it in our mind, really feeling about it, and then taking massive and inspired action to make it a reality. The two are one whole. You need to have both there. You need to put that active intention and that active behavior to start manifesting, to start seeing, to start achieving and being your potential. I forgot to give you a tip. So, one of the ways of radiating is to really consider taking time out of your day to consider your desires. Take time out, have it allowed to be in your mindset, so you can begin to really put out there and project the type of things you'd like in your life. One way of doing this is by, when you wake up in the morning, taking just 5 or 10 minutes and put yourself in that place of absolute radiation. Radiation, not the bad radiation, but to radiate what you'd like in your life. Take time out and just really consider your thought process, the type of feelings you'd like to bring into the day. And also when you go to sleep at night, really take time out to learn from your day and then begin to feel those feelings of the type of things you want in the next day and the following day. Really assume that feeling of having achieved your desires. And as you do that in your mind, you allow that attention to grow. Especially as you go to sleep, you're ultimately carrying that over into the unconscious sleep state. So it's a really wonderful idea just to do that and take your thoughts, your feelings, and your assumptions of how you like to be in this world into your sleep. So that's a little quick tip I forgot to mention. So I hope that helps. Any questions? If you want to have any other subjects you'd like me to talk about, feel free to email me on joseph@josephclough.com or join my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/josephsfanpage and twitter.com/josephclough. You can ask me a question, I'll record it, and I'll give you all my advice as I can. I'm here to support you because you are worthy, good enough, and capable to live your life the way that you want it to be. So many thanks and goodbye.